Well. Good afternoon, my friends and family. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to talk about Africa coming in from the cold and what I mean by that. For 300, 400 years, Africa has been colonized. Its people had been captured and put into slavery across Europe and America. Africa today, after so many destructive force against it, has rise and has risen to an occasion where the West is now scrambling to come up with a new plan for Africa. But it seems like all their plans has been toyed or outmaneuvered by the young African leaders coming up today. Excuse me, from South Africa, West Africa, East Africa, and beyond. You have young leaders like Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, Assimi Gota of Mali, um, Senegal new president and vice president, Chad president, and the one lady, or the two ladies now in the play. They're not that young anymore, but they're giants in Africa. The president of Tanzania and the president, the now newly elected president of Namibia. For years, the West saw Africa not as a partner, but as a pawn in the global chess. Dictators was funded. Real leadership was assassinated. From PLO Lumumba, Kabare, Mohammed Gaddafi, Sankara, Stephen Biko, Chris Hani, Maurice Bishop, and the list goes on. of African leaders. Now you have some new leaders, young leaders, who are taking bold steps. These are leaders from the military. So the West is calling them juntas or whatever the word is, and calling them dictator. But hey, if they're dictator and they're doing things for their people, and their people is standing up for them, who is to say that they're not true leaders for for their country and their people? But you see, the West has a problem. If it cannot control you, it design ways and names to assassinate you. But black people all over the world now is slowly standing up and defending our leaders. Many leaders, Pan-African leaders, were assassinated or taken out in different ways. Bob Marley was seen by the United States as a Pan-Africanist and as a leader for black people. And they fear that he was getting too powerful. And I'm going to leave it like that. You know what happened to Bob. Peter Touch, another Pan-Africanist, was also feared by the Jamaican government and the US. We all know what happened to Peter. Now let's move to leaders who are now seeking sovereignty for the country. Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta of Mali, and the list goes on. Chad from I can't remember the place where Chad is from. But anyway, all of these leaders is making a mark and doing things for their people. So the West is getting real nervous. They fear if Africans and African leaders unite, they will not be able to go into Africa and steal African wealth, its minerals, its gold, its diamond, cobalt, uranium, lumber, all this mineral to develop the West, to continue developing the West. And if they want it now, they would have to pay for it and pay for it at a fair price. And this have the West scratching their head, trying to figure out what to do. It's been said that after French were kicked out of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. The French president called Ibrahim Traore wanted to restart the relationship and for him to accept the French military back in Burkina Faso. He said no. He asked him, let me ask you a question. You're friends with the US, Britain, and Europe, Brazil. Do you have your military base down there? Macron couldn't answer because he know he don't have any military base in those countries. So Ibrahim Traore, why do you want your military base in my country? Africa leaders is seeking freedom for Africans worldwide. This we have to support in whichever way we can. I can't help with funds, and I'm not there. So this is part of my contribution. And I'm asking you, my dear friends, to like, share, subscribe. Share the word, spread the word, because Africa is truly coming out from the cold. It's regaining its independence. In the early 40s, when Africans went to World War II, were sent to World War II to defend Europe, when the soldiers from Senegal came back, they were promised that they would be paid. When they went to ask for their money, the French government in Senegal at the time, military government, killed over 30. It is said it's from about 80 returning soldiers who was hold back pay, and the French didn't want to pay them, so they killed them. The official report that it was 30, but unofficially it was up to 80, close to 100 people killed. Now, Africa is seeking new partnership, a partnership that respects Africa. They're leaning towards Russia and China. China and Russia is coming in. They don't have the baggage that the West has. They come in to do a job, they do their job. They don't mingle in African affairs, in African politics. So they're more favored now by African leaders than the US or European leaders. Remember, of all the colonial masters, the Belgians were the crudest, the wickedest. You can see scars from Belgium, Portugal, left and Africans in the DRC, in the Congo. The Belgians will cut your hands off or one of your leg off if you didn't produce enough, the amount they said they want you to produce for the day. They will penalize you by cutting your hands off, or cutting your legs off, or cutting fingers off. That's how crude Belgium was. Now, let's get to real work. African leaders building their own future. It's not just about politics, it's about food security. They're building agricultural factories for manufacturing product from, like I said, South Africa in the south to North Africa, Chad, and beyond. Africans are developing their own space. They're developing independent energy system. They're developing digital sovereignty and defense alliance. The first defense alliance is the AES, Joint Military. They put it together to move to one leader, one government, one currency. Now, with people outside of Africa supporting these leaders and these African leaders, the West is now calling it a cult. They're trying to distort what's going on. When Africa do this, when Europe defend their interests, it's called a tragedy. But when Africa do the same thing, it is called dictatorship or a cult. Warning to the diaspora, to my brothers and sisters, get involved or get left behind if you can relate to what I'm saying. Please share, subscribe. To your group. Help me spread the word. And let's get Africa out of the cold. This is not a wave. This is a movement. From, like I said, from the south, Ghana, Gabon, Africa is really coming out of the cold. Now we can build. Now we can lead. And now some of us may be able to go back home after 3 centuries away from the motherland. I'm asking you again, please don't forget to like, comment, share, send me a message. Follow me for more unapologetic truth. Again, my name is Never P. Africa, forward, always. One love, one God, and one destiny. Peace, my brother. Stay strong. My brothers and sisters, stay strong. We can make it.